This is part 3. Hopefully this is the last part. It's 6:03 p.m. September 29th, 2016. Okay, now. The company that has the contract with Ohio prisons, it is Airmark Corporation. And they are absolutely horrendous. They should not be a food service company. They need to lose all their licensing and basically just stop claiming that they serve food, because they don't serve food. They serve rejectamenta, as far as I'm concerned. This kind of angers me to a certain point, because before I got locked up, I just thought, yeah, feed prisoners, whatever. Feed them dirt for all I care. They broke the law. They're monsters. They're the scum of the earth. Who gives a fuck? Now that I've actually been on the inside, my attitude has changed dramatically. I now am like, hey, you know what? They're people just like you and me. They made a mistake. They broke the law. They're serving time. Don't kill them while they're trying to serve their time and learn their lesson. I mean, geez. Really? I came across so many people that, have been incarcerated for like 5, 10, 15, some even 20 years. And they told me about all the operations they've had to have done. One lady had to have gallbladder surgery done. Anyway, doesn't apply to me. I'm cool. Anyway, so they see, now I lost my train of thought. That pisses me off when that happens. Anyway, Airmark did not cook food properly, for one thing, did not serve food properly, did not store leftover food properly, and did not reheat food properly. How we cleaned up was absolutely just totally wrong. I mean, I don't know much about, food service guidelines. I mean, I do now that I work in the kitchen here. And everything is by the book here. This is probably the cleanest kitchen I've ever worked in. But I worked in the cafeteria when I was down in ORW, and then I worked in the cafeteria at Northeast Pre-Release Center. And not long after I got transferred to Northeast Pre-Release, I got transferred out of ORW after about 6 months, which was a blessing in disguise, because ORW was starting to really get me down. I was getting death threats. I was getting harassed constantly. The whole, don't I know you? Weren't you on the news? And it's like, oh my God, just let me do my time, and you just go do yours. Leave me alone. People that had been locked up for, that were either what they're called long-timers or lifers. Some of them were telling me about how they had to have gallbladder surgery because the food was so bad that they ended up getting gallstones that just could not dissolve on their own. And I'm gonna do a segment about medical care, but that'll probably be tomorrow or sometime, maybe this weekend or something. But yeah, I'll talk about medical care next. But it got to where, the food, it makes you constipated, it makes you nauseous and queasy. All the grease just kind of got to me, because for some reason me and grease just don't get along. You could season stuff, but they'd only give you a 1 salt packet and 1 pepper packet, and then in the mornings you'd only get two sweet and, well, their idea of sweet and low sweeteners. The food was just really abysmal. I mean, it was slightly better at Northeast, but not by much. And it was still the same company, Airmark. And people were finding maggots in their food in a lot of the prisons in the state. And it started out in some of the men's prisons. And the men actually banded together and did a "we're not going to eat this stuff" strike. And that got the attention of the media or whatever. And, well, when maggots were found in the Marysville prison in ORW, the women tried to band together and do a "we're not eating this shit" strike. And what happened was they removed the microwaves from all the dorms. So if you bought food on commissary, you had no way of heating it up. You had no way of like preparing your own meals if you decided not to eat at the cafeteria. They would force people to go to the cafeteria. They couldn't force you to eat, but they forced you to go there. And they were trying to dissolve the whole thing. And so women just went in there, filled up their trays, and then walked right to the trash can, dumped out the food, put the tray on top of the trash can, and walk away. Because they were just like, okay, fine, you know, whatever. And there's a news clip from Channel 6 News in Columbus that talked about it. And I don't know the girl that called her mom and had her mom call the news, but I'd love to shake her hand, because that finally got the media's attention to where they're like, hey, what the hell? Well, to my knowledge, we didn't find maggots in Northeast, because I was working in a cafeteria at the time when all of that was going on in Marysville. But that cafeteria wasn't cleaned very properly either, you know, so anything was possible. I used to have some food phobias, so just the whole thought of, oh, I'm going to be cleaning. Am I going to find maggots in the floors? Am I going to find maggots in the food? You know, we used to call air mark scare mark, because that's just how unnerving it was to eat in a cafeteria. It was just really gross. So, yeah, I ended up being very vitamin deficient, to where my hair was falling out in handfuls, and my skin was just all, you know. I mean, now I think my face looks a little bit better, but and after about 2 years of prison, my face started to look very pale and sunken and gross. My blood pressure was still high, even on medication. Yeah, I was one of the fortunate ones where I only did about 2 years of prison time. I did 5.5 months of time awaiting my sentence, which is called jail time credit. And then I had about 6 months or so, maybe a little less than 6 months, taken off, called good days, because I attended college classes. And so every month I had 5 days taken off of my time. And that added up, because I did about a year and a couple of months of college. So that helped a lot. It got me out the door faster, especially when my application for transitional control got denied. Because if I would have gotten approved for that, I would have gotten out like last October. But it got denied, so whatever. And I ended up getting out in March. So that is about it for now. And I will do another one very soon. I love you all. Peace and duck lips.